So we now come to one of the most popular ways of expressing a rotation tensor, which is through a sequence of Euler angles. To define Euler angles, we first note that a rotation tensor requires only three independent pieces of information, which is the axis of rotation and the amount of rotation. The axis of rotation has magnitude 1, so this is actually two pieces of information here, and this is one piece of information, so that's totally 3. Okay. Now we can then define the Euler angle representation as follows. Any rotation tensor can be represented as three successive rotations theta I, which are of unknown amounts, about three known axes ai. So if I was to draw the picture for you, I would say that, well, here is my first axis a1, rotate about a1 by theta 1. Okay, then rotate about another axis a2 by theta 2. Finally, there is another axis a3, rotate about a3 by amount theta 3. Okay. So if I have a vector, let's say r0, and I am rotating r0 by the rotation tensor r, and it is giving me this vector small r, then what the Euler angle representation is claiming is that I can go from r0 to r by following three steps. First, rotate r0 about a1 by theta 1. Okay, so let's do that. So first, rotate about a1 by theta 1. So this is the rotation of r0 about a1 by theta 1, that is expressed by this formula. You will get some output. Okay, let's call that output, let's kind of draw that output. Let's say this is r1. Okay, so r1, so this is theta 1. Okay, then the second rotation is about this. So take hold of r1, rotate about, this is 2, let me just make it clearer. Take hold of r1, rotate about a2 by theta 2. Okay. So this is r1, so rotate about theta, rotate about a2 by theta 2. Okay, I need to create some space. Okay. So that's that, and this is also a tensor. Okay. So this is the second stage was rotation of r1 by r2. Okay, and this, let us say, gives me some vector r2. Okay, so this creature here is r2. The final thing is, well, take hold of r2 and rotate about this axis a3 by this amount theta 3. Okay, so let's write that out in yet another color, which I can't find now. Well, maybe I'll use pink. Okay, so this is 3. Okay. So I will rotate by r3 about a3 by the amount theta 3. Okay. And this equals r. So therefore, how do you say, so what is capital R equal to? So this implies that R can be expressed as R3, A3, theta 3 dot R2, A2, theta 2 dot R1, A1, theta 1, which is what I have written over here. Okay. So the Euler angle representation is only claiming that I can find that I can pick three known axes, and about these three known axes I have to rotate by three amounts theta I successively. First do 1, then 2, then 3, and you can express the rotation tensor in this form. Rotation axes cannot be parallel, okay, because if they are parallel you don't actually have anything different. For example, suppose I have an axis here, and let's say I rotate by some amount theta 1, okay, let's say about A1, and let's say A3 is parallel to A1 and I rotate the amount theta 3. Well, I could always add 20 degrees to theta 1 and subtract it from here, and the answer will remain unchanged. So therefore rotation axis cannot be parallel, otherwise there is this indeterminacy which comes in. This choice of rotation axis and the amount of rotation is called the Euler angle sequence. Okay, so that's the Euler angle representation. Clearly the choice of the axis is up to you, so there are infinite possible Euler angle sequences. Okay, which one should you choose? That depends on experience, that depends on the problem at hand, and as we do more problems it will become obvious which ones to choose. So that was the Euler angle representation, but we are also saying something more important here, or more useful for this course. If a rotation tensor can be split into three successive rotations about three known axes, what it also means is that if I had a rigid body, and I'll draw a rigid body over here, so that's my rigid body, and if I had another orientation of this rigid body, let me copy it and let me paste it here and let me rotate it, so that's the same rigid body but in a different orientation. Okay, then because we have argued that this can be related by a rotation tensor, so what we are saying over there is that you can this rigid body can go from this orientation to that orientation through three successive rotations about three known axes AI. Okay, right. Another way to look at it is that I could draw a body fixed coordinate system of this rigid body, which then becomes this coordinate system. Okay, so that's E1, E2, E3. So that's the BFCS of. So this is at some other time, so if you want you can mark it by primes. So that's the BFCS now. So the rigid body goes from this orientation to that orientation. You take your BFCS, rotate it by R1 about some axis A1, then about A2 by some amount theta 2, then about A3 by some amount theta 3. Do it successively and you would have gone from this orientation to that orientation. Okay. What we are claiming here is that it is possible. Okay. How do you actually do it? It is best explained by an example which I am going to do next.